You need to learn how to talk to your wife or your long-term relationship lover in a way that doesn't produce conflict in the conversations, because that's just going to push her further away. If you're facing a situation where your wife wants a divorce or a separation, one of the things that you need to learn fast is how do you talk to her and how do you stop getting engaged in conflict that you can't resolve the conflict. Conflict is never fun. I always say that working on your marriage is always what's not working. The first thing that we're going to cover is to
stay calm and respectful. What?
So this is a perfect example where she missed her notes and I am staying calm, but I'm also still being respectful. So let's talk about staying calm and being respectful for a little bit. One of the things that a lot of men struggle with is, oh, the wife's left, she's gone, and maybe initially you said you didn't want the relationship, then she walked out the door. That was our situation. I said, I don't want you anymore. Get the F out of my house. We were believers, but I was in a bad way. And she's like, okay, fine. So she got on an airplane 2,000 miles away. And then I start missing her. I'm like, oh, where's my baby? I feel like I was a big jerk. And so how do I attract her back? And how do I even talk to her? Because now she doesn't want to talk to me because I hurt her. And she's like, I just want a divorce. Forget you. So she would say things because when a woman starts sensing change in you, like she can see that you're taking steps to better yourself, to become a better man, she's going to test that. And she's going to see if that's real. And you are going to become a piano, my friend. And she is the person. We have a keyboard over here. I don't know if you can see that. She was trying to hide it. She was like, oh, that don't look professional. But listen, that keyboard, there's a reason God put that in our background. Because she walked all over that keyboard, pushing those buttons to see, was I going to be triggered? Was I going to blow up? That's very normal, especially for a man to do that. And it's very normal for a woman to dance on those keys. And if you want to share something with that, you can. But how are you calm and respectful when she dances on those keys, when she's pushing your button? So first, before we go to that, why do women dance on those keys? Why do women push those buttons when I'm saying I want you back? Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden you sense like, wow, he's not that a-hole he used to be, but is it fake? Is he just doing this to get his way? Is this manipulation? Did he watch something on YouTube that he's learned and he's quoting this or citing this? Why do women push the buttons? Why do women dance on the keyboard when we want the marriage back and you're like, I'm in a position I want out of the relationship?
Because we think it's fake, like 100% fake. And we just think that it's not real. And it's like, we put that wall up. Yeah.
Oh yeah. For more information on that, Google Denver Griffin, how to bring down the wall. So when you put that wall up, what are some ways of being that I can be or do to bring? So if I start fighting and trying to fix it and I start trying to tear the wall up that you put down, how's that going to work?
It's going to cause resistance on her part, and it's going to push her further away when you are trying like desperately. You need to stay calm and connected, but keep up communication in a loving, kind way, but not pushy.
So what you're saying is what I always say. Whenever we try to work on the relationship with an obstinate spouse, that's always going to be the one thing that you can count on to not work. By me trying to tear the wall down, what she's saying, man, is what I always tell you guys. When you try to tear that wall down, she's going to put it higher. That's what happened with us until I learned.
I just kept putting blocks up.
Yeah, in my course, I teach a few modules I call it the Jericho factor. And the Jericho factor, we teach you how to back up, stop working on the relationship, and watch that wall fall down.
Yeah.
So how do I stay calm and respectful when she's pushing my buttons? Well, I'm going to tell you something. This is one of the things, while it is a very easy thing to do, it requires a new way of being. It requires that you become a new person. The word actually says, so as a man thinketh, is he. And until you start thinking differently, when she pushes your button, it's going to work and you're going to explode. And maybe you've made 3 months of progress and it's going to push you back to square one. And she was already thinking, I don't want him. But now you've listened to some stuff on YouTube or Instagram, or you went to a church seminar or something.
Whatever.
Yeah. You started making wins and you started gaining some traction and the tides looked like it was turning in your favor. And then she's like, I'm going to see if this is real. She jumps on those piano keys and she hits the C high note or the F sharp, and you just blow up. And all of that progress that you've made to mending the relationship and all of the hope that she was thinking, maybe this is real, but I don't know if I buy it. She's going to hit that right note and you're going to blow up. And not only do you go back to square one, you're further back. Because she's like, you know what? All my friends that I've told what a jerk he was, that now they're your competition. So that this just further confirms, oh, you know what? Whatever Shaniqua or Shanda or Angelina told me, all of that stuff is true. I knew, like, once he's a bully, he's always a buddy. Once he's a cheater, he's always a cheater. And it's called bias. And it further confirms that the things that she originally felt towards you, it's confirmation bias. You are confirming to her that you were all of those things that she hoped were changing.
For me, if the man is emotionally reactive, like what he's saying, that is the biggest turn off, and to not stay calm and connected and just even if I'm having a nervous breakdown, I don't need you at that point to intercede and act crazy, emotional on your emotions, because that's like, oh, yep, ruined it for me.
So what do you, let's say that I'm a really emotionally overreactive
Person in general, or just for the season?
No, let's just say currently we're in a conversation and I become emotionally overreactive. How do you, if you're to identify that, would that be a man walking in the masculine or walking in the feminine?
It would be walking in the feminine for sure, but it would also shut me down because it's not attractive at all. It's the biggest turn off, because if I'm having a hissy fit, I don't need you to have a bigger hissy fit. And then I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that's why I'm done. I'm so done.
So what she's describing right now, I teach in my program, it's called emotional safety. So if she knows that she can tell you something and you're not going to blow up, then that is a masculine trait. And women are designed to be attracted to masculinity.
It is everything. Everything. You're the rock. You hold it together even when crap hits the fan, and she's even acting like a train wreck because of her feelings. But she does not need you to have those kind of feelings. You need to be the stability and the security of, I got you.
But what about when you push my buttons? Then is it okay to act like a girl?
No.
And what is acting like a girl? For me to blow up and become like this big bulldog. And sometimes she's afraid of you because, right, we're so big and masculine and overpowering. But it's me walking in the feminine when I start.
It's even bullying or manipulation at that point. That's how she feels. Even though you're not trying to do that, that's how she feels.
And listen, she's kind of proving something that I always say in my program. So whenever I'm going to adjust this light while I'm talking, but whatever we talk about with our women, with our wife, with our lover that we're trying to attract back, you are going to feel like you want to blow up, and rightfully so.
Yeah.
Maybe she's walking in the masculine, right? And she's pushing buttons that are unfair. And I'm going to tell you something. For women, what is truth to a woman, and tell me if I'm wrong, what is truth to a woman is how they currently feel about the situation. And how a woman feels, for her, that is the truth. So for any of you men out there that are trying to get your woman to change, because you're like, that doesn't even make sense because that's not the fracking truth. Like, here it is. Like, if you're ever saying, I wish we had a video camera in our house so I could rewind it, because that's not what happened. That's not what was said. That's not what I said. Listen, if she felt like that's what you said, for her, it's the truth. And even if you're right and she's wrong, you need to understand that she was designed by the Creator as a woman for whatever she's feeling in a relationship. It's true. Now, if she has a job at the phone company and she goes up there, she can walk and change roles, and she can even pivot. You at home, you walk in the feminine. Sometimes, though, if we had a disagreement, she can transition into the masculine, and then that's something that pushes my button, because we're both alphas. But if she's at work at the phone company, or a long time ago, she used to do hair for a living as a cosmetologist. She can go up there and be she can be very factual based, and that's her walking in the masculine. So women in the workforce, women can do just like we do. We can pivot from the masculine to the feminine a woman in the workforce can be this dainty thing like that movie with Sandra Bullock in The Proposal, where they're in Alaska and she's wearing this little negligee and tiptoeing over him. But at work, at the office, she's the
a
bulldog. Everybody calls her the B.I.T.
She was a boss, yeah.
So, and at work, she walked in. It was so funny. Even in that movie, watch this movie to prove what I'm talking about. The Proposal with Sandra Bullock.
Yeah.
In that movie, at the office, she walked in the masculine and she was fact-based. But in her private life, in her personal life, in the relationships that it showed it in the movie,
She was vulnerable.
she was vulnerable.
Yeah.
And what was facts for her outside of the workplace was how she felt at that moment, even if it wasn't factual. So if you try to change a woman to be factual in your relationship, you're missing one of the most beautiful parts of a woman. You're missing the reason that the Creator put her with you to begin with, because it's the opposite of you, and her walking in her feelings is fact. She will see things as your helpmate and you as her helpmate that you won't see, that can give you a more beautiful life together. So, with that being said, stay calm and respectful in communication. One of the things that you can practice, today I'm not having the best day. I just got back to my house, we've been on a long trip, and it has nothing to do with her, but I'm kind of like out of my routine. I hadn't been in the gym because we've been traveling. There wasn't a gym where I was at. And so I'm like feeling a little swollen, a little groggy, and I'm just I wasn't in the best mood. You know what I did right before this video? We both literally did this. I smiled, and we held it, and I literally said, I am happy, I am happy, I am happy. Guess what? The reason I'm bringing this up, how do you stay calm and respectful during a conversation? I'm going to give you some tips on this. Do the I am happy. Hold your smile. It will release chemicals called endorphins into your bloodstream. It will literally increase your testosterone. If you're about to meet your wife and you want to man up a little bit, you're about to meet your lover for a date or something, maybe she hasn't talked to you forever, she's been obstinate, maybe lift weights, do a few push-ups. Get the endorphins going, your happy factor. Tell yourself, I'm happy. Hold that smile for 10 seconds, say I'm happy. This seems crazy, but it works. All the stuff I'm telling you will be the opposite of how you're feeling. But listen, if what you've been doing so far would be working, you wouldn't be watching this video.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I want to share something with you. If you're still watching the video at this stage, I'm assuming that you're getting at least some benefit from the content. I want to give you something else. I'm offering right now a free masterclass, and at the end of that masterclass, I'm giving you an opportunity to apply to work with me. The website to do that is denvergriffin.com/masterclass. And if you're enjoying some of this content, please hit that like button and subscribe. I'm posting YouTube videos daily right now to give you free content in order to help you save your marriage. And I want you to be notified as those videos become available in real time. If what you've been doing so far would be working, you wouldn't be watching this video.
Yeah, put yourself in that headspace and control it. And then it's easier to get connected at that moment.
So let's talk about something else you can do. Before I do that, if you're facing divorce or separation from somebody that you love and you want the relationship, right now while you're thinking about it, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, so as we produce more content to help you save your relationship, you'll be notified. Right now we're releasing new videos daily. So another way you can be calm and respectful. We're in our second marriage. We actually were facing divorce, and I'm like, I'm not doing this. I'm not dealing a legacy of 2 divorces to my children and to my grandchildren. She was in a space where she didn't want to work on it anymore. And I'm like, I'm just not putting my family through that. So I'm going to figure out a way to attract her back, even though she doesn't want to come back. And one of the ways that I did this was stay calm and respectful in a conversation. And listen, I was in another marriage where same scenario, that marriage ultimately ended. It was 2.5 decades. And in that marriage, same thing. The wife left, didn't want anything to do with me. And I tried to save that marriage, didn't I? And ultimately, I wanted my family. I didn't want my kids to be in a broken home. I did a lot of things and they worked. And the reason that I share this with you men is because to a woman, it is not about the million things that you do right. In my first marriage, the reason that wasn't successfully saved is because I did all these things right. I had some wins. And at one point, I had been separated for a year. And then finally, I'm like, okay, that ain't going to work out. You and I started dating. And then what happened? She came back in the picture,
She
right?
heard about that he was dating me. And then she tried to come back into the picture.
Because one of the things, though, so we split up and like, okay, she's like, you need to go try to.
I stepped back, because I was being respectful. And I said, you know what? You have 3 kids. I have 3 kids. you need to see what's up, like see what's happening, because I don't want to be that person.
So the point that I'm
for
making
him
with
to
this,
have regret.
yeah. So the point that I'm making is, so why wasn't I able to save that marriage? The reason I wasn't able to save that marriage is what I'm telling you here. It's not about the million things that you do right, because I did so many things right. And actually, whenever I started dating you, I was a different man than I was when I was in my first marriage. But why did that marriage not get saved? It didn't get saved because it was about the one or the two things that I would do wrong, because I hadn't transitioned into a way of thinking fully. When she came back in, that first wife came back in and she danced on some of those piano keys that pushed my button, I blew up. And guess what? Back to square one. And ultimately, their marriage ended. So God allowed me to go through that and then come into this and be married to a wonderful, amazing wife, where we have a marriage like I can't even imagine. I've met my soulmate. But it's not always heaven. We have to like do some things in a way of being, but it's not hard work. Is it hard work staying married and staying in a happy marriage?
No, it's just being intentional.
No, it's what's working on the marriage is the hard stuff. That's what kills the marriage.
Yeah.
That's why marriage counselors, they're not, their goal, if they've been doing it long enough, they know that the majority of the clients that they counsel as a marriage counselor, that those clients are ultimately going to end up in divorce. So they start thinking of themselves as divorce counselors, because all they're doing is focusing on what doesn't work. Now, a really good marriage counselor is worth their weight in gold. I just haven't heard of many of them. There are some out there, but they're more so than not. They're not. So what is one of the things when I was working with her, when she agreed to like start seeing me again, I knew I was still riled up. I didn't have a new way of being completely yet in my mind. I'm not a big drinker. Like I drink at weddings once a year or 2 years. And so one of the things I would actually do to help me stay calm and respectful was I would literally drink 2 beer or have a glass of wine. I would Uber to where I was going. I would have that because, I don't drink. So I was like borderline drunk, but it caused me to be really relaxed. And so I'm not recommending if you're an alcoholic that you break your AA cycle, but I am telling you, it's something that you can do to help you stay calm and respectful.
Right.
So, but the key word is calm, because calm exudes masculinity, and it also tells her that you're an emotionally safe, masculine man. And if you can become calm in all situations, that's what I call a 1% of a 1%. But it's not something you can do a few times and master it. That's the reason in the Divorce Stoppers program, as I put men through this, I do what Tony Robbins taught me to do, an immersion. I immerse you in this. It's 35 days. I am putting you through daily teachings, and you also have the opportunity to do one-on-one. So if I'm not covering something that you have a question about, you can schedule unlimited phone calls with me, in addition to being there in the community of men where we're all together helping each other have these wins. But it's not about the things that you're doing right. It's about the one thing that you do wrong.
Right.
I teach in the program how to always be right, even after you're done with the program.
Yeah.
So step number 1, stay calm and respectful. Step number 2 is listen actively and empathetically. What does that mean?
It means no distractions, even if you have kids. Put your cell phone up and just be where you're at. All ears, all heart, be where you are.
So
Empathetically.
You can say emphatically if you want to. So how do I listen emphatically? You know what emphatically means? Emphatically means I genuinely care what you're saying, because I genuinely hear you. I genuinely hear you. And what a woman's definition of hear you is like on the movie Avatar. I see you.
Yeah.
I see you. When you can hear a woman to the point that she feels like you see her, that's what you call see into me, and that's called intimacy. And when you have intimacy, I would say that's when the legs open up. I'm just kidding. Well, we'll edit that out. But even for your wife, when you have intimacy, that's when the legs open up. And guess what? That's a beautiful thing if it's with your wife, because God created that to be something beautiful. And I'm going to tell you something. If she feels like you see into her, when they do open up, you're going to have a whole different experience in that. Have any of you ever been with your spouse and you were romantic with each other, and then at the end of it, you felt like you weren't pleased because she just did it out of like biblical duty or because she's your wife? You don't feel fulfilled when she just is with you because she wants to satisfy you, because she don't want to hear you gripe about it, or she knows you're going to keep her awake all night with something poking in her back or whatever. But if you really want that to go to the next level, you really want that to change,
Yeah.
when you have an opportunity to go there, make sure that you go there before you go there. And the way that you do that is you actively listen and you have empathy. I have another class that I've taught on YouTube here. You can Google Denver Griffin. I think it was How to Listen. How to Listen.
And listening also, let me just butt into this really quick. On the women's side, listening is truly listening. It doesn't mean fixing. She wants you to hear her with your ears and your heart. And if she asks you for your feedback or advice, definitely give it. But seriously, just to sit there and be quiet, it's okay. But eye contact and just listen. She's not looking for a solution. That's like offensive to us when we're just like trying to tell you our heart.
So that's how she feels right now, but I want to add to that. Sometimes she's looking for a solution.
If I say, help me.
But sometimes she doesn't say, help me. So how do you identify, like, oh my God, what does she want help? You know what I do? I ask her,
Do you
are
want
you
my
wanting
help?
me to just listen right now, or do you need my help?
And I'll say, no, just listen.
Because listen,
Or help me.
especially if you're in a separation or you're in active divorce, or she said that she wants that, you need to ask the question, do you want me to just listen right now, or do you need my help? Are you wanting to me respond, or are you just venting and you want me to listen?
That's an open-ended question, and that's great to create those in your marriage or your relationship.
You know, one of the biggest things that you can do to save your relationship and create an environment that's a masculine, this big brick house over here that she feels comfortable to come lay on and get on your shoulder and just feel safe, is shut up, shut up, shut up. Shut up, shut up, shut up. I tell myself that to this day. Shut up, shut up, shut up. Those 3 words, if you walk around telling yourself that when you're around your spouse that's wanting a divorce or separation, if you just become happy and you're telling yourself in your brain, I am happy, I am happy, I am happy, and no words are going to come out of your mouth, you ultimately could possibly save your relationship with that one technique.
And that is also great to carry into, even if you're facing divorce or separation, that is a really good practice to carry into your marriage, because it's just that important to keep that up on both parts.
Now listen, don't tell her to shut up, shut up, shut up.
Tell yourself.
Tell yourself, shut up, shut up, shut up. So the next thing is to find common ground. How do you find common ground with a woman that said, I love you, but I'm not in love with you?
Yeah. Yeah. You find the common ground of nothing. You just try to go have some fun, and go ahead.
So I was going to go on that.
Yeah.
So I know how to find common ground with somebody that says, I love you, but I'm not in love with you, because she said, well, I love you, but I'm not sure if I'm in love with you. I'm like, okay, so I'm about to build a men's course in the process of getting my marriage back. What the enemy has planned for me, God's going to use this for not just my good, but millions of men before I'm done. Because not only was I able to attract my spouse back and save our marriage, I'm going to help you do the same thing. And so here's how you find common ground, and you actually hit that nail on the head. Why did you fall in love to begin with? Why did she fall in love with me to begin with?
Go back
Why
to
did
that.
your wife fall in love with you to begin with? It's because you were hanging out, hooking up, and you were having fun. And so creating an environment of fun requires that you shut up, shut up, shut up.
Talking about like life issues constantly and problems and kids and things like that. Even in general life, after you go over all of this stuff and you're back together, or your situation, whatever, you still need to have the fun times to create the peace and the happy heart and the fun.
I would
Excitement.
not address any serious issue
No.
with your mate whatsoever until you guys have actually moved back in together. She's not mentioning divorce, separation, or divorce any longer, and the divorce attorney has been fired. Table serious talk until the reconciliation is there. You have to fall back in love with each other. And listen, you think you're so in love with her because she's gone, you're lonely, and you want her back. But you're not as in love with her as what you really think you are.
Yeah.
You're hurting right now, but you're probably still in selfish mode, and you don't even see that about yourself. What I do in my program is I teach you, how do I get you out of selfish mode? So one of the ways that you get out of selfish mode is stop focusing on, I want my wife back, and start focusing on how can I become the man on a mission to be the man I'm supposed to be, and just give her some space. Let her do what she wants to do. Stop trying to work on the relationship and just be there to hang out and have fun if she gives me an opportunity to do that, and never, ever, ever bring on serious issues. Listen, if you try this and it immediately gets you results, and for a lot of you, it will immediately get you results if you just shut up. Maybe all of a sudden she's like, well, hey, I want to come over and let's, have a glass of wine, which is code for like, no, I'm needing some things from you. So you're going to be there to first to give her the emotional fulfillment, and then she's going to give you probably the sexual fulfillment. And now you think, oh my God, we're back together. Now we can talk about and work on the marriage because we're men and we want to work on it. We want to fix it. Listen, that's the hard way to do it. And we're hardwired to believe anything worth having is worth fighting for and working for. And I'm telling you, in a relationship with a woman, the one thing that never works is the exact opposite of what you think. It's the exact opposite of what you're feeling. And it's the exact opposite of what, there's other programs out there. They teach you have to go up this grueling mountain, and it's going to take a year and sometimes 2 years. And they have testimonials of people coming on and saying, oh my God, I've been working on this for 18 months, and finally she's talking to me, and she came over for dinner, but we still have 2 mortgages. Or I'm like, what in the hell?
It prolongs everything. And let's backtrack 1 second.
We're going to get you results. We're going to get you results faster, but we want you to continue. It's not manipulate her and get her back.
No.
But we're not trying to get you dating again after 18 months. I don't buy that. There's too many other things. When you're in a long-term relationship where you've been in a relationship for as many years as some of these other guys out there teaching this stuff have been alive, there's other factors that those kind of teachers, they don't understand it. We own businesses together, and we have 6 children and 5 grandchildren. The longer we're separated, the more things become damaged, the harder it is to reconcile.
And we have been together we're in a second marriage for 10 years, by the way. So we have a lot invested here.
So find common ground. The way you find common ground is the way you found common ground in the beginning. You can do a touch charge. That released endorphins just now, okay? You can, if it's appropriate, you can do a talk charge, which means you just say a nice comment. I will tell you though, until she says it first, one comment is a no-no. Is a no-no, is a no-no, are the words I love you. If you're saying that in text, if you're saying that verbally, stop saying it. You want to attract her back, you have to create curiosity. And when you stop saying I love you, and what really creates curiosity, the 2 C's go hand in hand. Who you have been, change that person. Change it. Now, I want you to change for the better, but honestly, if you just change for the worse, that's going to create curiosity. And I'm not recommending that you change for the worse, but I am telling you, you need to change. And one of the things that you can really start with a big change is stop begging her for the relationship, and stop saying I love you all the time. And if you do that in itself, it's going to make her curious. Why? And if she's curious, she'll stop thinking about you.
It will allow her feelings to come up in her, besides being resistant all the time of you feeling so desperate that I have to say and do all this stuff to get you back. Sit back, be loving, kind, connective, assertive, kindly, and let her know where you're at and that you're there. But put a little bit of curiosity there for sure.
Yeah, and for some of you, that's one of the reasons I do the one-on-one calls in my program too.
Desperateness is not a good quality for her to find her heart again for you.
Some of you are a little bit too nice, and you need to take it. You need to take it in a little bit of the different direction, but that's a whole other topic.
We'll do that tomorrow.
Yeah. If you find yourself where you've been divorced, and all your friends are like, "Oh my God, I feel so sorry for you," because sometimes you're just too nice. And I don't mean you should go be mean, but there's some ways that you can get out of the too niceness also. Whole other subject. That's why I have the program.
Yes.
And then the next thing, by the way, I'll probably do a video on that. Make sure to like and subscribe, and you'll get that content when it comes available. Consider meditation or counseling if needed. So let's talk about what do we mean by that. So I just dogged marriage counselors in general, but a good marriage counselor is worth their weight in gold. But I will tell you this, that we just have story after story after, I would say almost all of the clients in the Divorce Stoppers program, probably 90% of them have been through counseling that led to the wife filing the divorce. So how do you determine which one is good? So what do we do? How are we different than marriage counselors? And I run the Divorce Stoppers program, and then Brandy and I run Marriage Health Live together, and where we do couples coaching. But so how do we actually do what I'm talking about that's different? What do we do? So we are marriage coaches. We're relationship coaches. And what a relationship coach does is we teach you how to achieve your goals of the
To
relationship.
stop looking behind you and look forward at your future,
We're-
not live in the past.
We are not backwards focusing.
Yeah.
We are not problem focused. Yes, some problems need to be stated so we
Yes.
understand what we're working with,
Yep.
but we are not focusing on the problems. We are focusing on the solution. And
Future.
again, I will go back and say this until the day I die. Working on the relationship is exactly what's not working.
Yeah.
There is no mountain that you have to climb to fix this. You are on top of the mountain right now. If she doesn't want to be with you, there's some a-hole standing up there on the mountain by himself and nobody wants to be with him, and it's you. But if you're coachable, I can help you walk down the mountain, and it is the easiest thing you will have ever done in your life, but it will go against the very DNA that's bred into you because your brain says, I need to fight, I need to work, this must be hard. And guess what?
Make it easy.
If that was working for you, why are you watching the video? You've got to do something different if you want to save the relationship. And the longer that you're separated, the longer that she has confirmation bias, the longer divorce attorneys get involved, or if they're about to get involved, the more likely you are to end up divorced, completely separated forever, and the relationship is not going
And
to
it
be fixed.
ruins, as you know, your legacy with your kids, your family is disrupted, all of it.
What she's talking about is statistically, scientific fact. If you get a divorce in this relationship or this long-term relationship that you've been in, if it ends, it's going to leave a legacy that statistically increases the suicide rate for children involved, increases the suicide rate for you, increases it for her.
Wow.
Next relationship, the statistics of your next relationship surviving goes way down. The statistics of your children and your grandchildren's relationships surviving go way down if you don't be the one. Listen, this thing about, oh, if you really love her, let her go. I had somebody tell me that bullshit when we were separated. If you really love her, I think one of your kids actually told me, if you really love her, let her go. And I'm like, okay, so statistically, she's more likely to kill herself. Her finances are going to be disrupted for probably a decade. You're more likely to have another doomed relationship.
True.
So if I really loved her, I'm like, let me give you the statistics because I love you. Now, she wanted me to let her go.
I didn't want the statistics.
How did I attract her back? I came up with shut up, shut up, shut up. And then I came up with this acronym. Okay, instead of like working on the relationship or trying to tear down the wall with her, I just stopped talking. And if she talked to me, I was nice, but I wasn't texting her. I stopped saying I love you. I stopped texting her. And something else I did, I said, you know what, God, what do you want me to do? And God said, I need you to smell better to me, which will smell better for her. So I came up with the acronym SPICE. Some things that you can do to make yourself more attractive is SPICE. You can go on YouTube or Google, type on Google, Denver Griffin SPICE. Attract her back with SPICE. So what is SPICE? You can increase in your spiritual attractiveness, your physical, your intellectual, your character, and your emotional attractiveness. Which one of those to you is most important?
Gosh, I don't know.
This?
For me, it's a couple.
What?
It's a couple.
So which two is it?
Well, spiritual is a big one for me.
The reason spiritual is for her is because if you have spiritual attractiveness and you grow in that area, it's going to increase in the emotional attractive to you.
Yes.
Because as you become a more spiritually attractive man, you're going to become a grounded, emotionally safe, masculine man.
Those two they go together.
Now, if you're somebody you don't want anything to do with spirituality, then just work on the emotional part of it and you're going to have this basically the same result.
It'll all roll together.
So if you're finding yourself in the place of separation or divorce, subscribe to this channel, hit the like button. I can't say that enough. The algorithm will serve up the videos as we release them daily. If you're finding that your situation is dire and you need immediate help and you need it now, you can get all of this stuff, daily immersion, where we will walk you down the mountain on the pathway to get the results of a marriage or a relationship, basically like you've never had before. And we do that through immersion and the process of change. Now, you can also get some free content at denvergriffin.com/masterclass. If you'll go through that masterclass, at the end of my masterclass, I actually give you a discounted rate and an opportunity to apply to work with me. And that could be another resource that you can start using today to help you save your relationship.